You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, we got another photo of Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini. We've got NFL insider Albert Breer. That's right, Bert Breer. National insider, also, of course, covered the New England Patriots forever, coming out making comments on the Mike Vrabel, Dianna Russini situation. He just comes right out and says it. Man, what she has done to other women NFL insiders, reporters, insiders is soul crushing. I mean, she has pulled the rug out from under many of these women that were trying to get credibility. I can tell you right now, best example, my ex-wife. We would turn on a football game and she would see a woman as a pregame analyst and immediately it would get another one of these women trying to act like they know football. I mean, my wife would say that. All right? So you can imagine what a lot of these women have put up with trying to get credibility. And then you have this situation, and a lot of people are like, well, why is Mike Vrabel's job so safe and hers not? Because her job thrives on obtaining insider information, and now we want to know, how'd you obtain it? How'd you get that inside information? How did you get that scoop of ice cream? How did you get there? I just did that for visual effect, and everybody went, oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, so right here, this was a bar picture, allegedly, from the Indianapolis Combine at one of the bars. They're in Indianapolis. I understand they're just drinking beer, sure. A lot of people are mad over the Miller Lite. I drink Miller Lite. Okay, I don't get it. I've drank it for years. Certainly not drinking Bud Light. But for the obvious reason, oh God, this was some of the good ones. So much came out of this that clowned the shit out of this entire situation. Now, there are ways Mike Vrabel's job could start having issues. We found out he's skipping his NFL draft pre-press conference because he can't take the heat. He can't take the heat of the fallout of all what looks like a private investigator situation. I think it's her husband that hired the private investigator. That's my guess. That's just a guess. I don't know. Again, I will go back to the fact I actually believe that Vrabel, and this is again speculation, but Vrabel and his wife have an open marriage. That is my gut feeling. I could be wrong. I'm just speculating, but you get my point. But that may not be, the way that Russini and her husband they haven't been married that long, since like 2020. That's still kind of a young marriage. This guy come out and stated the obvious. I will say this, if Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini were conspiring to take A.J. Brown's trade value, that's a big issue. That's the only way Mike is exposed in this situation. Diana's already exposed because she's a journalist. Absolutely. If we find out there was something that she was doing and he was doing involving that A.J. Brown situation, no boy. Then you got some problems for Mike Vrabel himself. Albert Breer on, I believe this was the Sports Hub out of Boston.
Vetted. Gotcha.
Do you think it was a private investigator?
I do. I mean, like I don't know how you can. So here's the thing. Okay. That's 2 hours away. The Post story had detail from, it felt like sunrise to sunset, right? Breakfast.
Yeah.
By the pool. Sunset. Do you really think some guest at that hotel,
which is $2,500 a night,
who is there on a romantic, because I like everything you read about the hotel, who is there on a romantic getaway with their significant other, is going to sacrifice their entire day to taking iPhone pictures of them in different spots across the resort. Does that make any sense at all? And
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, especially when you're only talking about, what, 4 figures was what they were offered, supposedly. And people ask, well, why didn't TMZ get this? TMZ was trying to make a decision on whether or not to buy them when the New York Post jumped out and bought them. So the New York Post actually bought these pictures out from under TMZ. They were both trying to figure out if they would buy the pictures, and TMZ or the New York Post bought them, which turned out to be a great idea because it's far and away the biggest story in sports right now. I mean, it's not even close. Hell, the Masters happened, and it's still this story a week later. Albert Breer also would go on to say the following. In the big picture, Albert Breer is most concerned about the effect Russini's alleged impropriety could have on other women in the industry. Quote, Dianna's done such a good job covering the league, but if that line was crossed, well, then she's screwing over a lot of other women, he said. It's going to make people make assumptions about a lot of other women that don't deserve to have those assumptions made about them. Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, hell, there's people joking about, hey, Adam Schefter, how'd you get that information? Much less a woman, you know, I mean, seriously. Now, one of the big misconceptions, I always see people like, you know, Colin Cowherd will say, I've got a source on a situation. And you'll look down the comments section and fans legitimately believe, well, there was no source. He just made it up. People do not understand how tight the media, these insiders, and these coaches, GMs, people involved with the teams, how tight they all really are. They're all friends with each other. Like Sean McVay and Peter Schrager are like, they're all friends with each other. I mean, literally. Sometimes when people say they got a source, it's the person they're talking about. Personally. You know, I mean, you would be shocked. There's video from the owners' meeting of Jay Glazer and all the guys and hanging out and, you know, oh, the media's making that up again. No, they're probably not. They're probably not, actually, believe it or not. They probably heard it from somebody in the organization that they were sitting right next to, or they got a text. They're all friends. And there's a little bit of a frat element to all of this. So it's like, look, if we believe this is the first time this kind of thing has happened, you are awfully damn naive. Because I don't buy it. I mean, they go to these events. There's liquor involved. You know, you've got all these female journalists walking around. I can think of one in particular that she can barely keep herself contained every time Daniel Jones comes around. We're supposed to believe that nothing's going on? Okay. Sell that to somebody that buys it, because I don't. Now, Mike Vrabel's problem probably shouldn't have dogged out Christians a couple of weeks ago about educating them. Yeah, that immediately, you were already in the spotlight because of that comment, and then this happened? Shit. Okay. It was a bad 3-week period. For what was one of my top 3 favorite coaches in the league. Now I'm like, nah. And honestly, I'm going to be real. It's not this Dianna Russini situation. No, that remark about Christians needing to be educated, I shit-listed his ass right there on the spot. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.